Hey, my loves, what if I told you the way someone treats you has nothing to do with you? Surprise. And everything to do with what? With what they're afraid of within themselves. So, in today's video, we're going to get into our next letter in the ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships, and that's the letter I for insecurities. So grab a snack and come on back. Let's get into it. So, I is for insecurity. And this one, again, it doesn't shout. It whispers. It hides. And sometimes it looks like love. Insecurity is one of the most dangerous traits in toxic relationships and friendships because it doesn't always show up as insecurity. It doesn't always show up. It shows up sometimes as jealousy, control, passive aggressiveness, criticism, and competition. And we talked about a couple of these before, right? In this series already. And sometimes it shows up as someone trying to dim your light. And there's always somebody who's trying to dim our light, right? But what insecurity really, really looks like is a person, who doesn't feel safe within themselves. They don't feel safe within themselves. So when they see you growing, right? And they see you glowing, that beautiful glow. They see you healing through what you've been through. And they see you evolving, right? Especially on this app. It triggers something in them. It triggers something in them. And not because you're doing anything wrong. You're not. But because you're doing something they don't feel capable of doing, right? They don't feel capable of it. So they don't like it, that you're growing and glowing, and they feel like they can't do the same, right? And how it becomes toxic is instead of working on themselves, right? Somebody with insecurities, they often try to make you doubt yourself, right? They always want to make you doubt yourself. They want to downplay your success, right? They want to downplay that. They want to compete with you. And we talked about that in the letter C with compete and compare, right? So you can go back if you didn't watch that. Go back and watch that. They want to control how you move. They want to control how you move. And they want to keep you small. They want to keep you small so they can feel big. So they're not going to celebrate you or any of those things, right? They want to keep you small so they can feel big, And I just want to say this. Let me be clear, right? This is not love. This is projection. And I talk about that a lot on my channel, right? And if you go and see some of my posts, my community posts, you will know that. It's all about projection. People who are unhappy with themselves, people who think you've done something to them when you haven't, they project their BS onto you, right? And projection is the key for them, right? Insecurity, it doesn't stay internal. No. It gets projected outward. It gets projected outward. So when someone with insecurities accuses you unfairly, hey, my name is Lexi, been there, done that. I've been accused unfairly of so many things here. When they question your worth, right? And when they try to make you feel less than, like, we're using YouTube for examples here because this is where we are, right? So when you're growing, and Ma'am is trying to get into this here too. When you're growing and they don't congratulate you, they don't celebrate you like you celebrate them. We talked about this already, right? Yeah. They're trying to make you feel less than because they don't like it that you're moving up and they're not. They're insecure about it. They're insecure about every time they go live, you know? Every time they go live, they got to drink, they got to smoke, they got to do this, that, and other to feel comfortable. Just be yourself. Well, how come you go live and everything happens for you? And how come you did? Because I'm being myself, right? So those are insecurities, right? And it's often a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Like I said, it's so much of how they feel about them. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you, right? And the part that people miss all the time is, you can be kind and you can be loyal, a loyal friend, a kind friend. You can be supportive, my God, right? Supportive to the nth degree. Been there, done that. And you can be loving, right? And still be mistreated by someone who is insecure, right? Because they're trying to change the narrative on what they're doing because they're insecure, right? So they project all their BS onto you. And you know why? Why, you say? Because you cannot love insecurity out of someone. You can't. You just can't. As much as we want to be there for someone and support them and be there every step of the way, every live stream they do, everything, right? You have to be there all the time to support and do everything, right? And half the time they're not there for you, and they want to always make you feel less than. But that's because you're loving and supporting and being kind, but you can't. You cannot love the insecurity out of someone. You just can't. You can't change that for them, right? I'm going to say that again. You cannot love insecurity out of someone. You cannot. You cannot. They have to do the work themselves. They have to do that work themselves, So what you can do instead, you can protect your peace. And that's what we say a lot here in this series. Protect your peace. Do that. Stop shrinking to make someone else feel good. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop walking on eggshells and shrinking for someone else. They've got to deal with that themselves. They have to. Right? And you have to recognize that their insecurity is not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility that they have insecurities. It's not, right? You didn't make them insecure. That's something that they have to deal with within themselves. So not everyone who smiles with you is secure with themselves. They're not. They're not. And not everyone who loves you knows how to love you in a healthy way. They don't. Right? They don't. They don't know how to love you in a healthy way. So today, I want you to ask yourself this question. Where have I been dimming my light to make someone else feel comfortable? When have I been dimming my light to make someone else feel comfortable? We do that all the time. We're like, we won't say anything to them. Let's just let them do their thing. And no, you're not a good supporter and you're not a good friend. And I will say that until the cows come home, right? I never take back what I say or what I do to protect somebody I love or to do anything I don't. They don't see it and they have to change the narrative and manipulate other people and do that. That's them projecting their BS, right? But don't ever change yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. So once again, The ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships. This video is over. I hope that something here resonates, with you. And if it doesn't, leave it. That's okay. Leave it for somebody else, because I'm sure it will resonate with someone. We all have dealt with one of these traits, right? In somebody else. We all have seen these traits with either our bestie. Most likely it's not your bestie, though. It's somebody who you think, quote unquote, is a friend, or who claims to be your bestie, and they're not. They're not. They're just an acquaintance. But you get so excited. I watched a video yesterday of a young lady here on YouTube. Beautiful, beautiful Black sister. And she doesn't have friends, but she made friends with a young lady. They've been, friends. She doesn't even want to call her a friend. She's scared too. This young lady and her have known each other for years. This young lady is married, but she found out that they live in the same building. And they've only gone out twice. The second time they went to see a movie together. They went to see Yumi and Tuscany I think it's with Halle and Reggaeton. And so they went to see, she was so giddy and excited. The movie wasn't until 5. She got up at like 6 in the morning and got ready, and she was just so excited, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, I'm going out with a friend. And then she's like, I don't know if I want to call her my friend. And I felt that. Because we get so excited when we meet, somebody in our lives that we could do things with, and we have a good time with, and we're vibing together and everything, but you just don't know. So that's when we have to just take it slow. Just take it a little slow. We just have to do that. And never let anybody else dim our light. Never let them do that. No. Don't shrink yourself down to make somebody else feel better. No, absolutely not. So I want you to know, as always, that I love you plenty. I see you, each and every one of you. I'm so grateful to you all for accepting and watching this series. I don't know what I'm going to do when we get to the letter Z. I don't know, because I love doing this. I love this series. It's amazing. I love it so much. And I love that you all love it too. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of us. I'm proud of you and us here as a community and a collective. Let's just keep this thing going. Let's keep sharing our own stories. I love to see the comments of everybody who comes in and they comment and they're like, yes, I've been through this. Or that's something that I know somebody who's dealing with this. And keep the comments coming. Keep them coming. So I'll see you on the next one. Our next letter is J for jealousy. So let's see how that goes. Talk to you soon. Deuces.